Hi students, today we're going to be working on an activity called How Wet is Our Planet? Please read the introduction first and feel free to pause the video anywhere you like because you may require more time than I'm allowing to answer some of the questions. After reading the introduction, flip over to the back of the page and there are some questions that you're going to need to answer first before we start the activity. You may also need a calculator, so you might want to go ahead and get that out. But the first question asks you to look at a map of Earth. Why is Earth called the water planet? The second question asks, what percentage of Earth's water do you think is found in the oceans? Ice caps, glaciers, groundwater, freshwater lakes, inland seas, salt lakes, the atmosphere, and the rivers. This is just an estimate. So you're supposed to do this without actually looking it up. Then number 3 asks you to use the actual percentages that are provided by your teacher to calculate the amount of fresh water that's available for human use. And this includes groundwater, freshwater lakes, rivers, ice caps, and glaciers. Now, the actual percentages are actually on the next page. So if you look at the chart, you can see the actual percentages here. Once you complete number 3, go on to numbers 4 and 5 and answer those. Question number 6 refers to a demonstration that we're going to do in just a few minutes. It says, take a look at the container of water your teacher has prepared. Imagine that the 5 gallons of water in front of you represents all of the water on the planet. Now, obviously this is just a simulation, and there are good things and bad things about simulation, so we can talk about that later in class. But for right now, this bucket of water, 5 gallons, represents all of the water that's on the planet. And 5 gallons of water equals 1,280 tablespoons. This represents all of the water that's on the planet. Now, you're going to need to do some calculations. Okay, so number 7 says 5 gallons of water equals 1,280 tablespoons. Using the table below, calculate the total number of tablespoons for each. And to do that, you must multiply the percentage in decimal form by the total number of tablespoons. So in the chart, basically you see 3 columns. One column is for the source, meaning where the water is located. The second column is for the percentage of water in that location. And then the third column is the number of tablespoons in the simulation. So I did the first one for you. So if there's 97.2%, or if the percentage of water on Earth that's in oceans is 97.2%, we want to figure out how many tablespoons that is. So what we do is we change 97.2% to a decimal, and we do that by moving the decimal point 2 places over to the left, and we get 0.972. And when we multiply 0.972 by 1280, we get 1,244.16 tablespoons. So for our simulation, 1,244.16 tablespoons represents all the water that's in the oceans. Please do similar calculations for the rest of the percentages. Again, you're going to need to pause the video as you do the calculations, but I'm going to move forward. Let's go on to number 8. 8 says calculate the total volume of water in tablespoons of the water other than ocean water. And to do this, you have to add the number of tablespoons for everything other than ocean water. So that means that once you get your tablespoons figured out here, you're going to need to add everything up other than ocean water in order to come up with the value that you need for number 8. Again, you will need to pause the video, but I'm going to go forward. And please show your work. Now, when I did this, I got 33.76 tablespoons. Now, number 9 says divide up into teams of 3 and put this amount in a container and return to your workstations. But we're not going to divide up into teams. I'm going to actually demonstrate that here now. So 33.76 tablespoons then represents water other than ocean water. So I'm going to remove 33.76 tablespoons of water from our total amount of water on the planet, and we're going to put it into this container. So here's my tablespoon, and let's begin. Okay, so here's 33, and 0.76, of course, that's a little bit hard to measure, but I'm going to estimate that it's about this amount. Now, this represents water other than ocean water. Hold on just for a second, students. I have another student at the door. I'm recording a video right now, and I'm kind of in the middle of it. Could you come back in are you able to come back in like 5 minutes? Thank you, students. Okay, so this represents water other than ocean water. And so this is in a beaker, and let's see, what I'm seeing as a measurement is about 400 milliliters. Now, I probably wasn't exact because I did spill a little bit of water, but I think you get the idea. So around 400 milliliters. So again, this is the total amount of water on Earth. Well, it was before I removed the 33 teaspoons or tablespoons. Okay, and then now this is water other than ocean water. Now let's go to number 8. Number 9, rather. Actually, number 10, I'm sorry. Number 10 says, from this amount of water, remove the amount of water represented by all freshwater lakes and rivers. How much is this? Now, on your sheet, or in your chart, can you figure out how much water this would be? So it says, from this amount, remove the amount of water represented by all freshwater lakes and rivers. Now, when I did this, I got 0.1152 tablespoons. Now, that's a very small amount. That's just over 1/10 of a tablespoon. Let's see if we can remove that. So here's our water other than ocean water. Now 1/10 of a tablespoon. I'm going to estimate that that's about 1/10 of a tablespoon. Okay, so that doesn't even reach one of our graduations on our graduated cylinder. So I'm going to tilt it over so that you can get a better idea of what's in there. So just that little corner of water, and that's in a 500 milliliter beaker, represents fresh water, lakes, and rivers. Very, very small amount. Let's go to number 11. Number 11 says, now, from the collection above, remove the amount of water represented by rivers. The amount of water should be 1/1000th of a tablespoon, if your calculations are correct. What does this demonstration tell you about the fragile nature of fresh waters, wetlands, and oceans? Now, 1/1000th of a tablespoon, that's going to be very difficult to do. And we probably should have a pipette to try to do this, but I don't have one handy. But I'm just going to put about a drop in there, which is really, quite honestly, still more than probably what should be there. So rivers would be represented by actually less than this amount of water, okay? And this is a 50 milliliter beaker. So very, very small amount, okay? So again, we started here with water, 5 gallons of water that represents everything on Earth. We went from that to water other than ocean water, which are all of our freshwater supplies. And then from that to freshwater lakes and rivers, again, which was a very small amount. And from that, we removed water that is found only in rivers. Very, very small. All right, so boys and girls, use this information to finish up your sheet. Answer questions 11 and 12. 12, it says, explain why it is important that humans use water responsibly. And you can answer that question on the back in a few complete sentences.